What's good, you too, man? It's your boy SB, and I'm back with another sports break. If you guys have been subscribers to this channel for quite some time, you know that this is a yearly thing. It is time for the 2024 NFL mock draft. As everybody know, the draft is going to be this coming Thursday. I think that's April 26th, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll see if some of these people make it into the league and what they're able to do in the league once they get there. But before we get into the rules of this mock draft, let me introduce my boy once again. Been a while since he's been on the channel, but he is back as he usually is for these mock drafts. My boy, the Guru. What's good? How you doing, my boy?
I'm good, can't complain. What about yourself?
I'm pretty good, bro. So pretty good. As always, man, I appreciate you for joining. It shows a lot of you to get beat every year in these mock drafts and still show up for them. So I really, really appreciate that. If this is the first time that you guys are catching one of our mock drafts, then the rules go as simple as this. We're never going to try to predict the draft. The draft is extremely unpredictable. So it's almost impossible for us to predict where every pick will go. The way that this works is me and him going to alternate taking picks down this draft board, and the concept is that we're the GM for those teams at that pick. So if your favorite team doesn't take the player that you want them to take, don't take it personal. This is our personal opinions for each one of these picks. This is a long video. Keep in mind that the board will stay the same. A lot of people expecting drafts to happen throughout the course of the. Trades to happen throughout the course of this draft, which is normal for the NFL draft. But for our mock draft, the picks will be sticking and picking for every single one. No trades at all. And I think that for the first time in a long time, the Chicago Bears won't be trading out of this pick anyways, right? It seems like they always pick number one overall, and they always pass up on their store quarterback to try to get more draft picks, to try to build around other pieces. But I think this time they stay with the number one overall pick and take who everyone has been accepting to be the number one overall pick since the start of the college season, and that's going to be Caleb Williams. I think this is a star-studded pick for the Chicago Bears. And in that organization, they get a chance to hit the reset button without spending a ton of money to do it. Hopefully, this time they can work on his development a little bit better than they did with Justin Fields, and allow him to become the quarterback that everyone can see. Caleb Williams has the talent, but he does need a little bit of nurturing, a little bit of people showing him the way and showing him the tutelage. So hopefully, the Chicago Bears can get the right coach, the right system in now that they got their quarterback of the future. You got anything on Caleb Williams?
No, not at all.
So who you
No.
got? Who you got for the Commanders at number two overall?
I said I was gonna shake the draft up, but I'm gonna go with the safe pick, and I'm gonna go with the obvious number two quarterback on the board, and that's Jaden Daniels.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think it's a consensus now that most people kind of understand that the Commanders going to be going Jalen Daniels. What was it that you saw with Jalen Daniels that made him be deemed number two overall over Drake May or JJ McCarthy?
I just like me personally. I feel like Jaden Daniels is more of the boys more accurate passer in this draft.
Hmm.
Um, and I like his reads when he played against Alabama. That showed me a lot about him, and just his poise. So that's what I'm gonna go with. Number two, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels didn't win the Heisman by mistake, right? One of the best quarterbacks in college football this past season, and he could show it on the field. He had two star wide receivers to throw the ball to, but LSU always has amazing wide receivers, and sometimes they don't have to do enough with them. And it's been a long time since the LSU quarterback has won the Heisman. So I say that to say that it wasn't all just his receivers, right? He definitely had a lot to do with it, and I think he's a huge, huge fit for the Commanders with the receivers that they have in house, and they're able to get the running back going too. So love that pick for the Commanders. I think for the Patriots, they definitely want another team that's hitting the reset button, trying to get everything back going. They traded away their starting quarterback from last year, Mac Jones, to the Jacksonville Jaguars, leaving that spot open for them to take whichever quarterback falls to them to three. In our mock here, that is going to be Drake May, so that's who I have the Patriots taking. I think for them, it's just a sit and pick, right? Whichever quarterback's going to fall to them. We know that the Bears and the Commanders are probably going to go quarterback. They're going to take the third one out of these top three. I think it's Caleb Williams and then Jaden Daniels and Drake May are kind of comparable between the two. A lot of people look at Drake May's last season and want to hold that against him. He lost so many pieces to the NFL. Offensive line was horrible. And then they lost their star receiver for half of the season. So I really don't blame Drake May for the bad season that he had this past year in Carolina. So we got number 4, who is definitely a spot for a trade, right? People are highly expecting the Raiders, the Vikings, maybe even the Giants at 6 to trade up to number 4. But since our mock draft, we stick and pick. Who do you have the Cardinals taking at number 4 overall?
I hate for him to go there, but he's gonna have to go there, and that's Marvin Harrison Jr. at 4.
Yeah. I think that's easily one of the picks. And I think it's time for the Cardinals to stop sliding back, right? Take that cornerstone receiver that you need for Kyler Murray so you can give him a real evaluation. Kyler Murray only got 2 years left on that huge contract. It's time to see if he's willing or if he's worth another huge contract. What did you see with Marvin Harrison Jr. that makes him the top receiver in the draft?
First of all, his name.
Lenny
Um,
is huge. Yeah, that's huge.
2, Ohio State. If people don't understand, Brian Hartline is doing a great job
Yep.
in developing those wide receivers down there. And it's just that they become wide receiver you, if you really like it or not. But I like the way he competes. He's just a complete receiver, in and out. Even his breaks, the way he run his routes, his jump ball, and the yak. That's
Yeah.
more important to me.
Yeah.
What you do when you get the ball. So
Right.
Marvin Harrison Jr. For sure, is the number 1 receiver in this draft, and for sure he's going to be the number 1 receiver off the board.
I tend to agree. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is definitely wide receiver 1 for me as well. You can't teach size. He got the size and his ability to run routes and run through the whole route tree is really, really impressive. Every route he gets breaks, he gets the separation that he needs. Um, I think it's really, really close with him as far as wide receiver 1 between wide receiver 2. Not much of a gap between those two. And I think, ironically, the next pick behind them is the Chargers, who definitely need receiver after trading away Keenan Allen, not re-signing Mike Williams. I'm pretty sure they're not trying to go into next year with Quentin Johnson and Palmer being their 2 wide receivers, right? So I got the Chargers at number 5 overall, taking Malik Neighbors. Definitely has the ability to high point the ball. That's one of his best things, right?
Right.
He goes to get it at his highest point, 2 hands at all times. And his explosiveness down the field is what's going to make him a huge separator. A lot of people would say that they would go Joe Alt, which is the best tackle in this year's draft. But they already got a great tackle in Rashawn Slater. And he has the ability to be a star blindside tackle. I think right now you got to address that need at receiver. Give Justin Herbert an extra weapon to be able to throw the ball to. And I think you're good with either Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors going down the board. The only thing that I would mind everyone to watch out for is that Greg Roman loves his tight ends. So I wouldn't be surprised if this big was Brock Bowers. But for me personally, I think it's really, really hard to pass up on Malik Neighbors if he's there. All right, so we got the New York Giants at number 6 overall. What you thinking about them?
Is Daniel Jones it for you?
Is he it? I think he hasn't had the opportunity to prove himself enough just yet.
And good. So what we're going to do is we're going to give him a weapon, and we're going to give him Romeo Andonte out of Washington.
Nice strong pick. Nice strong pick. We had 3 straight receivers going, but I think you correct. I think when you're building a team, you need to have those other pieces in place before you get your quarterback that you really, really want. If they would to draft a JJ McCarthy at this spot, they're spinning their wheels. They're doing the same thing that they did with Daniel Jones. And he's not going to be able to develop if you don't have a star receiver for them throwing the ball to. They worked a lot on that offensive line. It's a lot better than what it was. But now you give them a star weapon that they're able to throw the ball to. And who knows, in this draft, you can still get a good quarterback in the second round. So I'm not opposed to that pick. And I think if you're the Titans, you're loving the way that this draft board is falling down to you. Their offensive line is putrid and it is really, really horrible. So I think if you're able to get the best tackle in the draft, you don't blink, you don't sit on the clock too long, the car get turned in fast. And I think they're going to take Joe Alt. Joe Alt has the ability to play 4 out of the 5 positions on the offensive line and be really, really good at it, right? So I think you get your blindside tackle, help protect Will Levis to be able to push the ball down the field, which I know that they're going to want to do with their new head coach being an offensive coordinator in his previous job. So this gives them the ability to have that extra protection and gives them the ability to also let Will Levis do the things that he would like to do. So we're sitting here with the Atlanta Falcons, number 8 overall. I see an offensive player staring us in the eye. But do you think the Falcons be able to resist the urge to draft the offensive player and finally help out the defense?
No, I think what the Falcons going to do is they're going to get a defensive player.
Nice. Yes. And I agree
And with
with
that
you.
being said, um, I'm going to go. Let me look at my board here because I like what I see.
Yeah.
It's between. Let me see how I'm gonna do this. There we go. My guy, Dallas Turner, out of Alabama.
Nice. Hey, I think in any draft you can't go wrong with you drafting a defensive player from Alabama, whoever's the best defensive player is. We've seen defensive rookie of the year from last year come from Alabama and Will Anderson Jr. So first defensive player off the board. What did you like about Dallas Turner in Atlanta?
They need it. They need desperately need a pass rush.
Yeah.
Especially in that division where it's really theirs to get.
Mm-hmm.
If you really think about it. The Panthers, they still got some ways to go. The Saints, I don't trust David Carr at quarterback. Um, and the Buccaneers, yeah, they made the playoffs last year, but it's just something about Baker Mayfield I still just don't trust. So therefore, I feel like with them solidifying, getting Kirk Cousins, getting somebody that can be a game manager, and to have that defense do what it do, and I feel like Dallas Turner will be a great addition to that defense.
Yeah, I would happen to agree. When Calais Campbell is the star pass rusher, and don't get me wrong, Calais Campbell was amazing for them this
Right.
season. He balled out in his advanced age, but it's time to start working on their defense. They've been drafting offensive pieces, I think, for 3 or 4 straight years now. And Brock Bowers sitting there staring you in the face. That's really, really tempting. Because Kyle Pitt can play receiver instead of tight end, so that puts you in a really, really dangerous spot. But I think it's finally time to start working on their defense. And there's nothing like a blue chip pass rusher to be able to take this high in the draft. And Dallas Turner is definitely that. So we got the Chicago Bears back on the clock again. You got your quarterback of the future. Now you need somebody for him to throw the ball to, right? DJ Moore is an extreme talent. They definitely have a receiver in Cole Kmet. And the way that this receiver board shook out, all of the top receivers went early in our draft. So I think at this point, if you're the Bears, you kind of got to pivot and start to look at another section of the draft. And I think for them, they have to go ahead and address the offensive line. The offensive line has gotten better. It's starting to build. It's starting to grow. But it always is good to get a little bit more talent to come in and be able to, have an impact on the team. So for the Bears at number 9 overall, I'm gonna have them take Olu Fashanu from Penn State. Extremely massive individual that knows how to move people out of the way and get them out of the way. They have a blue chip tackle. This Olu can play guard, he can play tackle, he can play any position that's not center on the offensive line. So I think that's an easy pick for them to be able to add that extra layer of protection for Caleb Williams. Obviously, they would love to be able to get another pass catcher in this spot, but the way that our board shook out, it just doesn't make sense. With them already having Cole Kmet, doesn't make sense for them to take Brock Bowers at that spot. So what are you thinking for the Jets at number 10 overall?
Now, one thing I know is number 12 love tight end.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I'm gonna go with this pick. The Jets, they got their wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. They got their number 2 in Mike Williams. They got a nice little running back with Brees Hall.
Yep.
We need a tight end. So therefore, they go Brock Bowers for sure, at number 10.
I think if Brock Bowers falls to the Jets at 10, they won't be on the clock for very long. They're gonna have the opportunity to have him fall in his lap, and I think you take it and you jump at it for all the reasons that you just stated. Give 12 another weapon to throw the ball to, and this offense is gonna be explosive with pieces all over the field. We already know that they hang their hat on their defense, and this is gonna bring their defense along quite a bit. So I think that's a out of the ballpark pick for them. And I think that if you're the Vikings, you're super, super excited that they decide to pass on quarterback again, because now you get your guy, right? The most of the mocks that you see across the internet has them trading up to number 4 to get this player. But in our draft, there's no trades, and he still fell to them at number 11. So I think it's an easy no-brainer. You go JJ McCarthy, get that quarterback of the future in. Now, for me, I don't think that JJ McCarthy is worthy of being a top 10 pick. And I think that if you're able to get him at 11, that is one of the steals of the draft. Get that guy in there, be able to start grooming him and develop him. He probably won't be good for a couple years, but he has the extremely high potential, extremely high ceiling rather than his floor. So I think the Vikings is a huge, huge win that they don't have to trade any extra pieces in order to get the quarterback that I think that they want. So that's gonna be amazing. Broncos a tough pick at 12, man. What are you thinking for the Broncos at number 12?
This is why I said this one is draft gets shaken up.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the quarterback that I think would fit the system. I thought about Spencer. I thought about some of these guys, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with Michael Penix at number 12. He will be a first rounder, and he will be going to the Broncos.
Wow, wow, wow. So okay, so I'm with you there. Before we put the pick in, what made you what put them process? Because I agree that the Broncos might need to go quarterback, and I
Right?
think that if you're sticking and picking at 12, it's gonna be really, really hard to evaluate. So what made you go with Penix over like a Knicks or any other quarterback that's
First of
available?
all, Bo Nick's been in college for 8 years.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Then I feel like with Michael Penix attributes, what he's good at, it fits what his coach likes to do, and Sean Payton. And I feel like this is like the perfect match. Russell wasn't it, but I feel like Michael Penix Jr. What I saw in the national championship against Michigan, and he was hurt. Yeah, we're going 12. Michael Penix Jr.
I think it's an interesting pick. I think it all hinges on his health, right?
Right.
Michael Penix Jr. You talked about Bo Nix being in the league for 5 years. I mean, in the college for 5 years. Michael Penix Jr. been in college for 4 years, and 3 out of those 4 years, he's had a major injury that ended his season. Last
Right.
year was the only year where he didn't have a major injury that ended the season. But as you mentioned, he was still hurt at the end of the season. So his durability is a huge, huge question. And I think that's one of the reasons why I don't have him as a first round talent. But I think that if he's able to stay healthy, if he's able to stay on the field, then yeah, he's definitely first round energy, first round talent coming around there. And I think you're right. Sean Payton likes older quarterbacks. He don't want to have to deal with the younger ones. So he in his history of coaching quarterbacks, he's never developed one that was young. Michael Penix Jr. is like 23, 24 years old, been mature, been there, done that, and just played for a national championship. So I think he kind of fits the mold of a Sean Payton type quarterback. So don't disagree with that pick too much. But I don't have him as a first round talent for sure. But we have the Raiders that's sitting at number 13. Obviously, they also need a quarterback, but all the good ones are gone. We ain't taking Bo Nix at 13 overall. It just ain't happening, right? So I think at this point, you draft for best player available. And I think at this point in time, the best player available is going to be Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback from Toledo. This guy is scary, scary, twitchy, bro. Like he can do any angle, any maneuvers. It's not gonna be easy to run routes on him. It's not gonna be easy to get that separation. And the cornerback is definitely an area of need for the Las Vegas Raiders. To be able to get a shutdown corner at 13 overall. They're gonna have their pick of the litter at this point, right? If they want to go cornerback, they're gonna have all the cornerbacks available. Quinyon Mitchell for me is cornerback number 1. Who you got at 14 overall for the New Orleans Saints?
They just lost their pass catcher. I feel like Michael Thomas not coming back, so therefore they need a big guy. And with that being said, that's available. Let's go with him, Brian Thomas Jr.
Nice. Nice. Brian Thomas Jr. an extremely big talent. Um, I think with the board the way that it is, definitely go offensive tackle right here at this spot. The offensive line is getting old, so I would go tackle there. But I could definitely see your thought process when it comes to Brian Thomas Jr. Like I said, replacing Michael Thomas to give someone on the other side of Chris Olavu to be able to push the ball down the field.
And then plus we're gonna keep him in the city.
Nice. Yeah, that's right. Keep him. He ain't gotta go far. He ain't
We
gotta
gotta
put
go-
his bag too far. I think LSU like a couple miles away from the Superdome. So super easy move for them. And I think Brian Thomas Jr. gets a lot he's in the shadow of Malik Neighbors a lot, right? Nobody really talks about him because of how great Malik Neighbors is. But Brian Thomas Jr. is no slouch at the wide receiver position. So I think that the Saints get a really good one there. For the Colts, definitely looking at going receiver at this spot. But all the good receivers are going kind of getting pushed down the board here. We've taken a lot of receivers at the top. So I think you go to the next spot of area of need for them that is still deep, and that's the cornerback position. And it's kind of, 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B for me between Terrion Arnold and Nate Wiggins. But I am an Alabama fan. So I think if you're gonna split hairs here, you gotta go Terrion Arnold. Definitely more of a bigger size corner. The AFC South is getting explosive on offense, right? You got the Houston Texans making moves all over the place, getting all kind of weapons. The Jaguars aren't going anywhere, and then you got the Titans getting even better as well, being able to pick up Calvin Ridley. So a lot of ability going through the AFC South. The Colts need someone that's going to be able to cover these guys, get out there and cover Stephon Diggs or Christian Kirk or even Calvin Ridley. So I think being able to get Terrion Arnold at 15 is a win. So worked out well. You see how the Seahawks are sitting here at number 16. What are you thinking for your Hawks?
I think we definitely need an edge rusher.
Okay.
So the guy at UCLA,
Latu.
Latu.
Okay. I like
Um,
Leatu injury risk, right? That's his big nail. He's been hurt last year. I think he had an ACL tear a couple years ago. But when he showed up to the combine, passed all his medicals, physical looked good, and his workout was amazing, right? And I think him combined with the ability that he did at his pro day, shoots him up the draft board a little bit. What made you want to go with Latu at number 16?
just for the fact that Seattle, they base their defense off getting pass rushes, getting to the quarterback, and letting that back end do what it does. But the front pressure gotta do what it do, and you can't win no game in little league, middle school, high school, collegiate level if your inside guys are not getting pressure and getting to the quarterback.
Yeah.
So therefore, when we won, anybody that wins a Super Bowl, besides the Chiefs,
Yeah.
got to get to the quarterback. So therefore, we're gonna go with this guy here.
With his size, I'm intrigued to see your answer to this question. With his size, with him almost pushing 200 and I think about 230 pounds. Sorry, almost pushing about 330 pounds. Would you pay him at DT or at DN where he played in college?
I'll play him wherever he's best at, whatever's gonna help the team. If he's good standing up, by God, we're gonna stand him up. In the
Well, I
three
don't
point.
think I don't think with his size you're gonna be able to stand him up. But would you play him at DT in the interior or on the edge with his hand in the grass?
I'll play him at the edge.
Edge, okay. I
I'll play
like
him at
it.
But a
I think
simple fact that you're gonna use his quickness. He's not a you gotta think about it. He's more finesse with it.
right.
He's not just the big sloppy
Yeah,
DT.
not a power guy at all.
You know what I'm saying? So that's not his strength. So
Yeah.
therefore, we're gonna use that quickness on the outside to beat those guys. So yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. We're gonna
I like
keep him standing up in a three. We're gonna preferably have him as a 3-4 DE if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I can see that happening. Kind of the role that he had in college anyways, and he was dominant in that role. So I don't see any worries with keeping him in that same spot. We go down now to number 17 overall, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And to me, much like the Colts, like I said with the Colts, the AFC is getting dangerous. And if you don't have those lockdown corners, now is the chance to get them. I think the Jaguars are in the premium spot to get a top corner. These top three corners are kind of stacked. There's not much separation between the three of them, right? So
Right.
being able to get the last one that's left, I don't think you'll be able to pass on them. There's a major, major drop off after this third corner. So I think if Nate Wiggins is available, you turn that card in with the swiftness. And just like I said with the Colts, to be able to keep up with the AFC South, the weapons that's getting added to this division, you're going to need that corner that you can trust to guard people one on one, no matter what spot of the field is on. Nate Wiggins is extremely, extremely fast. I think he ran a 4.2 in the 40 at the combine. Got the quickness to keep up with the speed that's getting added to the AFC South. So I think that's a knockout pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. What do you think that the Bengals, if you were in the GMC for the Bengals, where would you go at number 18 overall?
Yeah, they got two big tackles, so they
Mm.
don't need no tackles. I'm going Brian Murphy out of Texas.
Whew. I think he's a scary slept on pick, right? A lot of people not talking enough about Brian Murphy to number two to me. It's hard to find a good DT and be able to build around that. They just lost DJ Reader. DJ Reader, I think, went to the Vikings, if I'm not mistaken. But he's no longer a member of the Cincinnati Bengals. So to be able to replace him with the same kind of prototype player as Murphy, I think is a huge, huge win for them. What did you see about Brian Murphy that made you like him so much?
I like big boys. He gets to the quarterback. He's nasty. He played a three in the four technique very well. Um, you could play him in either the like I say either the three technique or you could play him in the four technique. Um, and he's physical,
Yeah,
and you can see when he's going that defense gets going. So
yeah,
like I said, you got to win in the inside. So therefore, I'm going Brian Murphy.
yeah. You playing in a division that's getting better at the quarterback position. Just to field in your division now. You got to chase down Lamar Jackson twice a year. And not to mention that you got to deal with the one that's escaping me, Deshaun Watson, when he gets
Sean.
healthy. So quarterback heavy, heavy in that division to be able to get someone to get after those guys is definitely going to be a key thing for them. So love that pick there. For the Rams at number 19 overall, you just lost Aaron Donald. He went ahead and called it quits, hung up his cleats. It's time that you get some kind of pressure to go in there. You've been hanging your hat on Aaron Donald being able to provide that pressure, and for a lot of his career, mostly all of his career actually, he's been able to give you that. But since he's not there now, and you got the second best pass rusher sitting on the board for me, still falls to you at number 19 overall. I think it's an easy pick to go Jared Verse from Florida State. This guy wins against everybody, and he's one of those prototypical edges that is good with his hand in the grass or with his hands on his knees, playing nickel corner. Sorry, nickel linebacker. So I think Jared Verse gives him that versatility to help them out in both positions, linebacker and edge, which is both positions a need for them. What are you thinking for the Steelers at number 20 overall?
They need to get somebody that can block.
That
So
is
therefore, we're going with the guy out of Oregon State,
that's offensive tackle, right?
offensive tackle.
Lisa Fuaga. So Lisa
So
Fuaga is a big guy, and unlike some of the other tackles, he is a pure power blocker. He likes to hit you in the chest early and let you know that he's there. I think for the Steelers, that's a win-win because they struggle with keeping their quarterbacks out of range. That's why they went from Kenny Pickett to Russell Wilson to Justin Fields to get a little bit more of a mobile quarterback in the building, which is going to be huge, huge for them, and it's going to make a little bit difference for them as well. So I think that's a great pick for them, and I think it's kind of sort of like them with the Dolphins. You got to address interior offensive line, and I think there's the best one that's left on the board. It's hard to go with either Jackson Power Johnson or Graham Barden. I think Graham Barden has a better fit for them. They have him listed as a tackle. Yep, they have him listed as a tackle. Graham Barden, the guy that played guard center. Haven't seen him play tackle. I'm not sure why he's listed at that. But I think him being able to play at the middle interior offensive line is going to be a huge, huge win for the Miami Dolphins. What are you thinking for the Philadelphia Eagles?
I'm thinking linebacker.
Okay.
Thinking linebacker.
Linebackers in this draft.
Um, Let me see. For the linebacker, I think I'm gonna go with not good at all.
This draft.
So therefore, that's not good enough for what we're trying to do. If that's the case, we'll go DB.
Okay.
Darius Slay is getting a little older. We like Cooper, but in this case, there's a lot of Alabama guys there already. So we go Kool-Aid.
Go McKinstry.
We got McKinstry.
I think when you're selecting between these two, not much of a margin in between them. I think Cooper DeJean gets a little bit of a higher rating for most people's boards because of his ability to play corner and safety. But I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is more of a natural corner if you want to go that route. Like you said, Darius Slay not getting any younger. And I think that's a really, really good pick for them. Now, the Vikings traded into this spot with my Houston Texans to be able to, get the quarterback that they needed. Now they do have that quarterback that they want. I think you can go either way here. Now, I think since Cooper DeJean is there, Harrison Smith not looking like the guy that he once was, being able to get him in and not play him as corner, but to be able to groom him as a safety is going to be able to be really, really huge. He has the chance to sit behind one of the best safeties in the league, watch the twilight of his years, and learn from a true, true vet and one of the best to do it. So I think Cooper DeJean is a steal for them, but not a corner at safety. Lot of attention around the pick at the Dallas Cowboys, number 24 overall. Where do you think they go?
Receiver. Let's look at the receivers.
Oh, got you. Think you go ahead and start looking for a CD Lamb replacement?
No. What we do is let me look at the running backs.
Okay. Got a couple good running backs in this year's draft. That's on me. There you go.
Second
One
round.
of them is ability to go first round.
Blake do have the ability to go first round. Jalen got the ability to go first round too. But we're gonna get them in the second round. We're gonna go back to receiver board.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go ahead and grab they let Michael Gallup go. They do need a tackle though.
Desperately.
They definitely need a tackle.
Yeah.
So with this draft being deep enough, I say they go JC Latham.
Okay. Love that pick, right? We got 3 good tackles sitting here. And really, to be honest, I don't think either of these 3 make it so far down the board like we got them. But I think if JC Latham is there, as a Cowboys fan, you celebrate and thank high God for being able to let him fall into your lap like this. Another people mover, massive human being that has really, really good feet. And you losing Tyron Smith, losing a lot of people off of that offensive line. To be able to get someone like JC Latham in is definitely going to be huge, huge picks. And I think that the Green Bay Packers are thinking the same. You lose David Bakhtiari, finally went ahead and left that team right after Aaron Rodgers, his best friend. Why not replace him with a top blue chip tackle and Troy Fautanu? Definitely did a great job protecting Michael Penix all season, and I think that he's a huge, huge replacement. But like I said, I don't think either of these guys are going to be available this late in the actual draft. What do you think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? What would you do if you were picking with them at number 26 overall?
They need an edge rusher.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go to the edge rushers. And my guy. They say he won't. Ooh, no, not him.
My bad.
I believe probably I'm gonna go Chop with this one.
Nice. I think out of the edge rushers that's left, Chop is the only first round talent that's available. There's also the guy that played at Michigan. His name is escaping me. His last name is also Robinson. But I think out of the 2, Chop is a better pick. I think if you're the Buffalo Bills, you are extremely. I'm sorry, it's the Cardinals. My bad. The Cardinals sitting at number 27 overall. You already went ahead and grabbed your wide receiver of the future in Marvin Harrison Jr. Not too late to start working on interior offensive line. And Jackson Powers Johnson is going to be a great ability to be able to add into that offensive line in the interior of it. They already addressed both sides of the tackle to be able to give Kyler Murray that extra protection. So being able to grab another interior lineman is going to be huge. Now your offense is almost complete. You get one more piece on that offensive line. Then your offense is fully ready to go. Maybe get a tight end or another wide receiver in there. Then they can start building on defense for the rest of this draft. So I think being able to have those 2 picks in the first round and address 2 needs on the offensive line, I'm sorry, in the offense overall is going to be a huge win for this Cardinals team. What would you be thinking for the Bills if you were in that spot at 28?
Wide receiver.
Yeah, 100%.
Therefore,
And I think we in line step with there's one really good wide receiver left.
I like Adale, but I'm gonna go with the guy from what's the guy from Georgia?
Lab McConkey.
And McConkey.
All right, I think this is
No, I'm gonna go Keon Coleman.
Okay, so now I'm definitely because I was a little iffy for Lab McConkey. I'm definitely iffy on Keon Coleman being.
Keon Coleman, cool.
Why would you take Keon Coleman over Adlai Mitchell?
Because I think Mitchell gonna end up falling.
Let me ask it this way: if you were the GM for the Buffalo Bills, what made you like Keon Coleman more than Adlai Mitchell?
Because Keon Coleman been in Florida State, he was there. He wasn't a transfer. He fought. He had good numbers. And he's a good route runner. You got to think about it. Most of the time, he ain't gonna be running no direct route. He gonna be playing backyard football with Josh Allen.
I understand. I understand that, and it gives you the size, right? That's his big calling card. Give him the size. He's a guy where you don't have to pinpoint the ball like Josh Allen is going to do, but you don't have to pinpoint the ball for him. You throw it in his vicinity, he's gonna find a way to come down with it. But a lot of those catches are gonna be contested catches for him. He's not really great at getting separation. He doesn't have the feet to kind of catch the ball on the sideline. He doesn't give you that breakaway over the top speed that Adonai Mitchell is going to give you, which is what they're going to be replacing in Stephon Diggs. I think if Adonai Mitchell is available at 28, there's no way you take Keon Coleman over him.
I understand that, but that's what the Bills do.
Okay. I understand that you got a little bit of a higher grade on him. I'm just going to disagree with you on that.
I don't have a high grade on him. I'm just saying what the Bills would do.
Well, I mean, the point of the draft is what would you do in a position of the Bills? So,
well, that's what the Bills will do. They'll do that. They'll do that. They'll do that right there.
But for me, number 29 overall, the Detroit Lions. There's not many things that they actually need as like a huge need. So I think for you, you take the best talent left on the board. And why not? Adonai Mitchell sitting right in your face. It's hard to not pass up on him if he falls to you at 29. Like I said, wide receiver not a huge need for them, but pairing him with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jameson Williams, moving him from the outside to the slot.
They just got Donovan Peoples-Jones back.
Donovan Peoples-Jones is not a reason not to take wide receiver, especially.
Is Josh Reynolds still there?
I think so, but Josh Reynolds in the twilight of his career. If you have the ability to take Adonai Mitchell and add him to your wide receiver room, even though you're getting the Quintez Cephas back, even though you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, even though you got a Jameson Williams, like I said, they don't have a lot of areas of need that they need to attack. Corners covered, safeties covered, defensive lines covered. The offensive line is amazing. So they got 2 blue chip running backs. So at this point, they're in the position where they take best available, not really going based off of need. And the best available player in our draft at this moment is Adonai Mitchell. All right, so here we are at number 30 overall for the Baltimore Ravens. What are you thinking if you were in the position with the Ravens at number 30? What were you thinking?
We need a pass catcher.
Okay.
So therefore, we want Troy Franklin.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. Wide receiver really deep in this draft. And all the good ones are definitely coming off the board now. But I think if you're a Ravens team, you didn't re-sign Odell Beckham. Zay Flowers won't be able to do him on his own. I love Rashad Bateman, but he be iffy sometimes. Sometimes he show up, sometimes he don't. Really coming down to Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers really carrying a heavy workload for the pass catchers. I think if you're the San Francisco 49ers, you're a little heated that he kind of went right before you because I think the 49ers might want to take a receiver as well with everything that's going on with Brandon Ayuk. But since all the good receivers are gone at this time, you are in a position of taking the best available overall. I know they said that the area need offensive lineman. So I kind of want to go corner here, but I think all the good corners are gone as well. Yeah, none of these corners are first round talents. Maybe Kamari Lassiter gets sneaks in since it's late first round, but I don't see that going. So I think that they would go best player available, and for me, that's Jason Newton. Uh, doesn't really fit too much of a need for them, but I think that's the best one left on the board.
I
And
think
for you, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, how would you end the first round overall?
would I in the first round out in the first round by getting the tackle?
Okay, and you looking at Ardarius Mims, I'm assuming.
Unfortunately, no.
All right.
I'm looking at Tyler Guyton at
Okay.
Oklahoma.
Nothing wrong with that one, right? I think Tyler Guyton is a first round pick. Like Amarius Mims a little better, but I don't knock you for having him high on the board. Tyler Guyton is a huge pick. Another people mover. Has great feet and is going to help keep Patrick Mahomes upright, which is always the goal. For the Kansas City Chiefs, they put a lot into that offensive line, and now it's kind of at the point where they have a lot of talent across from the front end to the back end, but nothing wrong with adding a little bit more pieces. So there you have it, you guys. We had some surprise picks going in that first round, some surprise shakeups coming in the draft, but that's how the draft works. It's extremely unpredictable. Always never know which way it's going to shake out or how things are going to go. Keep in mind, you guys, if this is the type of content you like, make sure you hit the subscribe button. This video a little bit longer than the usual content, but I think it's worth the time to make sure we get these picks right and kind of have those conversations that we had. Keep in mind the draft is going to be this Thursday. Lock in for that. We'll see how many of these predictions we got right. How many picks thinking the same way as us. But as always, my brother, I appreciate you for joining me. Thank you, thank you. We're gonna have the guru back again to break down some of this NBA content and maybe even talk about a little bit of boxing, a couple big fights coming up next month. Be able to break some of that down as well. But other than that, catch you guys in the next one. Peace.